It is the Mountaineers Now postgame show brought to you by Country Roads Air Duct Cleaning. Take me home to comfort. I'm Schuyler, Callihan. That is Christopher Hall live from the WVU Coliseum at the very top steps. West Virginia falling to Pitt in the backyard brawl, 80-63, the 190th edition of the rivalry. A look here at the numbers. West Virginia once again did not shoot the ball well. 22 of 53 from the field, 3 of 20 from beyond three-point range. Turnovers looked to be a problem early on, but they only had 9 on the day. Jesse Edwards, 20 points, 9 boards on 8 of 11 shooting. Quinn Slazinski led the Mountaineers in scoring with 22. And Chris, I think it all starts here with Blake Hinson, 29 points, 9 of 15 from three-point range. That is a school record. And anytime you give up 9 three-pointers to a single person, or to a team, let alone a single person, you're going to have a tough day. And that's exactly what happened tonight.
Yeah, and you can say a majority of those were there was a hand in his face. Kid was definitely feeling it. It was a career high. He just set his program record. 9 3-pointers. Obviously, it was a career high in points for him as well. So the kid played phenomenal. When they started hitting early, you could see how much Pitt wanted that game. You lose 6 straight. They smelled blood in the water. That's the best game. I've watched the last 2 games. I think it's safe to say that's the best game they've played all year. Kind of is what it is. We've talked about it after every game. West Virginia shorthanded. Always felt like the talent was there in the starting 5, but you could see that tonight they just didn't have the talent. Quinn's always put up numbers, so it's Jesse. You've mentioned it a few times. They really need that third scorer. Seth is just in a slump to the point where he was 0 for 11 last game or something like that, and he wouldn't release the trigger tonight. Just kind of, didn't take some open looks that he had, and that's not what you want from him. You need him to keep shooting, and he didn't. Obviously, it doesn't go on. It doesn't go on Seth. You're asking West Virginia to kind of keep up with Pitt's scoring, and they just don't have the talent. Not sure if Kerr could have helped or Raekwon could have helped. Maybe you start putting them, making them feel a little pressure if you start making some shots. You could definitely see the pressure hitting West Virginia when Hinson kept making threes in the second half. So it's that kind of night for West Virginia. It's unfortunate it happened against Pitt.
Yeah, and you mentioned Seth Wilson, his shooting slumps, and it feels like this whole team, but one kid that it just seems like he can't buy a shot right now either is Josiah Harris. I mean, he is getting open look after open look, be it from 3 or mid range, and he just can't get nothing, man. I mean, he has just been struggling. And when those two guys can't get shots to fall, you're going to be going up an uphill battle.
Kind of add to that real quick, Josiah got a little gun shy as well because he keeps missing. So Ofri, he'll shoot. He's not afraid.
He don't care.
Gotta love that kid. He's definitely gonna be a fan favorite. Hopefully, if he gets to stick around, he'll definitely be a fan favorite in the future.
Yeah, he's an interesting piece because he's so raw, and I hate using the term raw because, like, what is raw? But you can
raw
just
at this level.
fully develop.
He's a basketball player. He's just raw at this level. He's got a lot to learn.
He's just got to thicken out a little bit, fill his frame, and once he gets stronger, I think he's going to be a dynamic 3-level scorer. But again, it goes back to what we already mentioned, that third score. It seems like every night, Jesse Edwards, Quinn Slazinski, they're going to get you 18 to 20 points, but that's not going to be enough. You're going to have somebody step up. It doesn't have to be the same guy every week. I'm thinking football still. It doesn't have to be the same guy every single game. It can be a mixture of things. Like last year, how it was always one game be Emmett, the next day it would be Trey, the next game it would be Kedrian Johnson, and it was just always somebody different. You don't really have that right now. It's really Quinn and Jesse just trying to put this team on their back.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much sums it up there. I mean, they just got to find something from somebody else, get this guy's confidence up, which it's hard when now you're sitting at 3 and 5.
Yeah.
And nothing is falling. So it's kind of, Eilert was kind of exhausted after the game. Seemed a little mentally frustrated, to say the least.
I'm sure.
He's searching for answers with guys that, some of these guys, Sozinski wasn't even going to be on this team. Had they been able to pick him up, everything that didn't happen happened. He's coming off the bench probably as a second or third option at that position. So
Yeah.
it's I guess we can kind of end this on a positive note. Ekuk came back to play. Good to see him after him collapsing on the floor and George Mason.
Yeah.
So it was great to see him come out. He got a great ovation from the crowd. And it's just, I think he just 7.5 minutes. Uh, not
Made an
surprised at
impact,
all.
though.
But yeah, made an immediate impact on the defensive end. Um, I think once he gets kind of comfortable, he'll make an impact. He can be that third scorer from West Virginia. He can shoot from the outside and he can score around the rim. I haven't really seen enough of him driving at the basket, his ball handling. But I think when you can get it to him in the paint, he can score and he can set up outside. So that's a huge welcomed addition. And he only got, I think, what is it, one more game without Kerr. So things could start ramping up in a better direction for West Virginia. Just unfortunate it couldn't have these guys ready for the big game.
Yeah, I mean, West Virginia's shooting and really their overall offensive efficiency has been well documented in all the struggles they've had. But honestly, I think you could argue the defensive end is just as big, maybe if not bigger, of a concern for this team because they are just getting crushed off the dribble every single night. There's really no rim protection. I mean, Jesse, he'll get you, 2 or 3 blocks a game. That's just purely based off his length and his size. I don't know that he's really got that knack of being a shot blocker like a Sagaba Kanate was or anybody like that. But I think he's just because of his length. But you really don't have anyone to clean that up on the back end. You don't have the physicality underneath to really clean things up either and make things tough. I think really to me, the miscommunication and the late switches that happen are a big reason why Pitt and many others have had so much success on that end of the floor. I think defense is a big problem too.
Yeah, and most of that's coming in the second half. Pitt only had 6 points in the paint in the first half, and I think some of it is just not trying to get in foul trouble there in the second half, and
Yep.
some of it's just not having fresh legs. So, yeah, defense is a concern. Tyler questioned himself after the game. Maybe they should switch up zone a little bit in the first half, even though it was close. But it's easy to sit there and say that after the game. Hindsight's 2020, maybe, but it's just I just think we're right now the program got blown up, and you just kind of have to kind of don't want to say write this season off quite yet, but it's kind of looking that way. We'll have to kind of see what happens here in the coming weeks. See if he can get Raekwon back. It's absurd that he's not playing right now, but it's just kind of a wait and see. Can Okuka get more minutes as the season goes on? Does health allow that? What's Kerr? What's this team gonna look like with Kerr? We really haven't seen it because he just joined the program over the summer. So
Yeah.
we're kind of waiting how he fits into all this, and I'm sure there's going to be some growing pains when he comes to the lineup. They're going to have to kind of feel everything out. Where's Kobe and all this? Is he sliding to the two? When he comes back, they've done that. Under Huggins, um, the one and two would just kind of take turns after the starting five rolled out. So kind of see how that one plays out. But yeah, it really is just let's wait until get the roster back and see where this team is at mentally. Probably not looking good for Drexel Saturday. They already made that prediction, but they already went into Villanova and won. So
Yeah.
when you're kind of reeling and you just got blown out by your rival at home, um, I'm sure mentally this team's exhausted from everything that they've had to kind of endure here in the last couple months.
First win, Chris. First win for Pitt over West Virginia since January 30th of 2012. It's been over a decade.
It was law of averages, and it
Yeah,
took a blown up West Virginia program for to get their
exactly.
wind. They can
Yeah.
celebrate it. We can mark it as an asterisk and move on and say, get you next year. We'll beat you in football again and get you in baseball in the spring and just kind of move on. Look, Lady Mountaineers are actually a women's basketball team. They're undefeated, just beat Penn State,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
get them
Shout out to them.
coming up here soon and get that win under the belt as well.
Yeah, it's not going to get any easier. You mentioned Drexel, who's been playing well. UMass is off to an okay start at 4-2. Then Radford comes to town. You got Toledo, Ohio State, and then you get into Big 12 play. And oh yeah, you're starting with Houston, by the way.
Yeah.
So no,
Is it at Houston? I can't
yeah,
remember.
it's at
Yeah,
Houston, their
yeah.
first Big
So
12 game. So it's
by then you should have a Coop probably playing, getting you 20 minutes, and again, Kerr will have his feet wet
yeah.
within this offense. So
And maybe Raekwon's eligible by then.
yeah.
I'm not going to
So
hold my breath on it, but
we'll see kind of what happens. It's going to be a different team here in the coming weeks. So
yeah,
it's been tough to endure, for sure. It's been really tough to kind of go through this, and hearing the Pitt fans get to have their fun in the Coliseum tonight. But you know, it is what it is. Just gotta
yeah,
move on, and hopefully they can start scratching some wins, put the team together, and make a run in the Big 12 tournament. Maybe get sneak into the NCAA tournament late in the season. There's a lot of quality wins left on that schedule that they can really turn this around, and they won't even be thinking about that loss tomorrow. So got a long way to go, and
yeah.
again, don't want to write this season off yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah, we certainly are. Again, Pitt winners of the 190th edition of the Backyard Brawl, 80-63. They improved to 6-3 on the season. West Virginia falls to 3-5. The Mountaineers will be back in action Saturday evening for an early tip-off, sort of early afternoon or early evening, 4 o'clock. That one will be streaming on ESPN Plus and Big 12 Now. So we'll have the recap for you for that one between West Virginia and Drexel. See if the Mountaineers can get off the schneid there against the Dragons. Quality team, another one coming to Morgantown, another opportunity for West Virginia. We'll see what happens on Saturday, and that'll do it for us here tonight. So for Christopher Hall, I'm Schuyler Callihan. You've been watching the Mountaineers Now postgame show. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Mountaineers Now, and give us a follow at the same handle on X. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great night.
Free Raekwon.